While many of us are being advised to avoid contact with others, that's just not possible for first responders. Investigative reporter Angie Racono looks at the local plans to keep firefighters safe.
I'm outside Station 3, and this is one of the places where firefighters can self-quarantine while they wait for test results. That's because it has a community room, and it's going to be the same situation at Station 36 down south. I recently sat down with the assistant fire chief to talk about the real threat first responders face.
Staffing is a concern. You know, we could easily end up in a situation where 15–20% of our workforce might have the COVID-19 virus at one time.
Firefighters are on the front lines every day, but COVID-19 is different. As first responders transport sick patients, it's led to outbreaks and quarantines across the nation. It's coming.
We also have cots and sleeping bags lined up and a plan to get, food and water to the folks there too, laundry services, things like that. It's quite an undertaking, honestly.
Kansas City's assistant fire chief reports 12 firefighters have been quarantined at some point. Right now, 2 remain in self-isolation. 10 firefighters have been tested. All results have been negative.
We know that we're going to run a higher risk of acquiring this just because we are on the front line.
Kansas City is identifying community centers which could help support sick firefighters in the coming weeks and months. Ideally, there would be 2. One for sick first responders who test positive, another for those who need to self-quarantine while they wait for results. This would be an option for those who don't want to expose their families at home. There's talk of a hotel.
We don't have all the answers.
No one does. Firefighters are now being advised to no longer rush into homes. They should slow down and assess if anyone has a fever or cough.
The truth of the matter is, everybody's going to be running COVID-19 patients.
Kansas City is aware that other departments are getting creative. Miami-Beach County has a dedicated response team. It comes in response to other departments experiencing serious shortages due to exposure and sickness, and not just in Kirkland, Washington. In Washington, D.C., 3 firefighters have tested positive. Another 141 are in self-isolation. San Jose reports 10 firefighters test positive. 50 are in quarantine.
They know this is going to be a tough job, but that's the kind of job they do every single day. So a little bit more added anxiety and a little bit uncertainty. It's a new virus that no one has immunity to, and we haven't dealt with it before.
This is really a work in progress for all of these fire departments because nobody's ever dealt with something like this before. I also reached out to smaller fire departments who are still working on their plans. They're working with the union that represents all the firefighters in our area. Reporting in Kansas City, Angie Racono, KCTV5 News.